Your Majesty at your service. Welcome to Fairyqueen Talks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, Season 2 finale. It has been a year since the UK government declared lockdown measures on citizens all over the country. This week is an opportunity to reflect on the year and the impact of the pandemic on our lives. Also, this week is a celebration of this podcast, Fairyqueen Talks, because a year ago I uploaded my first episode. I produced 2 seasons full of goodness and have been overwhelmed by the support I have received from you, citizens of the Queendom. We have come to the end of the season today, and part of this finale episode, I want to use this as an opportunity to reflect on the impact of the pandemic on our lives, the success of Fairyqueen Talks, the podcast, and have a special message of encouragement for you. A year ago, I was about 6 months postpartum after delivering my lionesses and excited to embrace my life as a mother, a parent who was on maternity, and really wanted to take advantage of my time off work and introduce my children to family members who don't live in the UK. I wanted to attend all the baby classes, and because I'd finally settled into parenthood, I really just wanted to enjoy my girls. A lot of these goals got shattered and delayed because of the announcement of the lockdown. So here I was, ready to finally enter the world again. I had no choice but to stay at home. I felt fearful for my mental health if I was now going to be stopped from participating in society in the way I had envisioned. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I quickly focused my mind on possibilities. What can I do? What are things that could allow me to connect with the outside world and not feel stuck? The virtual world is something that has grown in importance, and it allows us to connect with people all over the world. I love speaking to people and make them realize the greatness within themselves. I identified podcasting as the most effective and user-friendly way to be one of the many people who bless the lives of others with knowledge, motivation, and food for thought through social media. I have identified myself as a fairy queen from when I was a teenager and love to talk. And since I was doing the podcast by myself, I created Fairyqueen Talks. Season 1 started being about motivating and encouraging others because a lot of us felt trapped at home. However, as 2020 went on, so many social and political issues started to arise. And I knew I had to speak on it and focus on what we as individuals can do to make our world and our communities a better place. Being part of the social conversations and adding the element of self-improvement has been good for me and good to me, and a lot of you have appreciated that. Each week I became more consistent, confident, and clear about my role as your fairy queen in a very eventful year. My purpose is to remind you of your greatness and to encourage you to tap into it and not be distracted by what's going on around you. I want all of you to have a happy ending and contribute in your communities and your families in a meaningful and positive way. I want you to spread goodness all around you, and most importantly, to feel it within your hearts and minds. You see, the pandemic has had negative and positive impacts in our countries, communities, and individual lives. But what was your role in it? Did you stand up for justice? Did you uphold your responsibilities as a good citizen, friend, partner, parent? Did you make the world a better place and ensure that you are self-reliant? When we have our own needs and wants met, we can be a blessing to the world. But when we haven't got our things together, it makes it harder to contribute to the world because our lives take priority. I'm very blessed to have a supportive and stable family which has allowed me to invest my time and energy into this podcast and ultimately led me to other opportunities I've been able to take. My goal with this podcast wasn't to make money, but to spread goodness. Because of my podcast, many doors have opened up to me to continue spreading goodness on other platforms. The Queendom is growing, and I'm grateful to have a global audience. Wherever you live in the world, know that I'm rooting for you and conscious of the challenges you face. This is why I come on here week after week after week, to keep you and me motivated and to stay on the path of your greatness. Because you will overcome. You are building a legacy. You are living in your purpose, and you have a vision for your life. During the break of Fairyqueen Talks, I will be working on building the Queendom, spend time with my family, and actually just rest. It's important to take a break during the day or even as you're working towards your goals. It will allow your mind to rejuvenate and focus on other things that bring you joy. So as I go away and not be in your ear on a weekly basis, I want to leave you with some thoughts. Your support of this podcast has been the best form of accountability for me. Even on the days that I struggled, it was your support that motivated me to create content consistently. So thank you. We are almost at the end of the first quarter of 2021, and it feels like 2020 all over again in so many different ways. When I started this podcast, I asked you the question, who do you want to be after lockdown? I hope that your perspective about what it means to live a lockdown life has changed in a positive way. I hope that you have embraced the opportunities to grow and to connect with yourself. And I hope that you have actioned your goals and are open to all the possibilities. We don't know what's ahead of us and what challenges may be ahead of us. However, what we do know is that our mindset is strong, and that any challenge that we will face will make us stronger and a more resilient person. As a citizen of the Queendom, it is your right to govern yourself. As your Fairy Queen, it is my duty to share with you the learnings of my life, and it is up to you to make informed choices and decisions that will lead you to your happy ending. You can keep up with me on Instagram at Fairyqueen Tatiana and on my YouTube channel, Fairyqueen Talks. You can find all the digital projects I do outside of this podcast on one of my playlists called Featuring Fairy Queen. I've also now completed all of my recordings with Ethnically Speaking, the video podcast, which you can find both on YouTube and podcast platforms. In total, I will feature on 9 of their episodes, of which 6 are already out and 3 more to go. So be sure to check those out. And with that, we are coming to the end of the season finale of season 2. At the end of each episode, I address the Queendom. Thank you for sticking with me. Stay safe and stay great. Make this year count. Consistency is key. Remember the path you are on. Thank you so much for listening to Fairyqueen Talks Season 2. I'll be going on a break and we'll see you in Season 3.